It is Wyc Grousbeck, the owner of the Boston Celtics. Hey, Wyc, good morning.
Yo, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Before we get to your team, important question from me. The tribute bottle of Cincoro that you did for KG, are there any of those left? Any lying around anywhere over there?
That was one of one. That was specifically a gift for him that Emilia wanted to do, and he was really, he was happy with it and took it back home to L.A. So it was really fun giving him that.
It was awesome, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that and about Ray Allen coming, and it was interesting because we talked a lot beforehand about whether Ray Allen would be here, and it seems like there's always speculation that when Ray left, it wasn't a happy moment. It seems like he's if that ever existed, it doesn't exist now.
Yeah, it was really nice to see him there. He's such a good guy, and we stayed in touch in the meantime. He and I and seen each other a time or two. But I guess I just feel like there's a special bond from that team, and everybody who was around it still feels it to this day. And this is kind of the proof of it, that you can't keep magnets apart or whatever. There's a magnetic thing going on, and they're great people and great champions, those players, and there they were together on the court again. It was really nice to see.
Wyc, when you look at your team on the court, they've completely turned it around. I think they have a lot of us here going, wow, this is, kind of what we expected. But one guy I think, who's been at the forefront of that is Jayson Tatum. I think through his last 10 games, he's averaging like 30 plus. I mean, what's the ceiling or level for this guy to get? I know we had a conversation yesterday with Ken Laird who said if he continues to play and get some of the accolades, he might go down as maybe the greatest Celtics player of all time, and that's even better than Bird. So I know it's a big ceiling, but you're around this guy every day. What's his mindset like?
Well, he just being one of the great Celtics is like a huge accomplishment because there've been so many. Mm-hmm. He is. I just think everybody is coming out, including and led by Jayson and Jaylen and Marcus and Rob and everybody. But everybody's coming out with just that intensity. One of the players said the other night, we're coming out at 150%. So there's none of this sort of easing into it or getting started or feeling out the game. They're going for it. And in the first half, recently we've had some leads. Occasionally, not every game, but some leads of 20 points in the first quarter, first half. Sort of just getting right after it, and it builds on itself, I guess. So, when you come into a game and you just hit it right from the beginning, that works. It can be exhausting. It's a good thing we got 3 days off. We're in the middle of a 3-day break right now, and good time to recharge. But I love the way they're playing.
Well, when considering the way they're playing and the fact that they've come into their own of late. And that turnaround, I personally think it started when I presented the game ball with you in the locker room several months ago.
I think so too.
But if that wasn't it, is there, from your perspective, who or what has been the catalyst when it comes to this turnaround for the Celtics team?
Well, we can go down the list of the players, and we just did mention some. But I've got to give Ime a lot of credit. I think Ime, coming into coach, when I met him last summer, I was like, this is the guy. I believed. His word for himself was authentic. I asked him for a word that would describe himself, and he came up with authentic, and I think that really does ring very true. He worked his way up through at the time it was called the D-League. He played overseas. He made to be a starter in the NBA. Then he was an assistant coach on a championship team. Then he was a national level assistant coach, U.S. Olympic team and all. But he's just the real deal. And so he was able to influence the team, and the team fell into or joined in that vision. And it took some time, but it started to come together in early January. So we're a work in progress still, but I've got to give Ime a lot of credit for coming in and leading the team this way, and then the players for obviously playing at the highest level that they possibly can. I mean, it's all working together, and there's a lot of credit to go around over there.
Wyc, I think the most impressive thing is, the beginning of this season, they're having team breakfasts. Everybody's saying that this team doesn't get along, that Jaylen and Jayson can't play together. Then you look at Ime, and he was calling them out in front of the media, saying, I told them if they keep playing like this, we're not going to win any games. You see them behind the scenes. So does Ime and the team just have a different connection than you've seen maybe other coaches have with the players, where the respect is just there, so that he can handle situations out on the court, out in the public eye, and the team listens to him out there?
Well, I see a lot of that. I see it also between. It's a great question, Courtney. I see it in practices. I see the team speaking to one another and giving pointers or whatever as well. But we can all see it out on the court during the games. You watch it any timeout. If you're in the arena anyway, and the timeouts are, and everybody's right in front of you. Anytime the game stops, Ime's calling two guys over, one guy over, putting his arm around the shoulders, talking animatedly. There's a lot of connection. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of listening. He's on it 24/7. He's on it in those games, and the guys are hanging on every word. So, that is what we can all see publicly. It doesn't have to be behind the scenes, and that's the way it is. I'm sure he's open to hearing what they have to say, but he's got concepts and ideas, and he's imparting them, and he's leading the team, and it's really it's great to see.
Wyc, you talk about Ime, and I think in basketball, as a fan of the game and watching it, you see the dynamic between coaches and players. And, it seems like you look at Miami the other night, Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra almost going to blows on the sideline. What is it about Ime when you hired him that it almost feels like the players, and I know Courtney talked about this, but the respect that they have for coaches, and when you see that in basketball, it's really difficult to do because of the talent and the egos that some of these guys have. What was it about Ime that showed you that guys were really going to fall in line and he was going to be able to control the room?
Right. Well, he just, I'm not a visionary about it, but when I met Ime, I was like this, back in the day when I was a version of an athlete, not a pro athlete, but a long time ago, a version of a team athlete. He's exactly the kind of coach I would have really cared what he thought. I would have really listened to. I really would have run through a wall for. And I guess it's just as simple as that. And he worked his way up. He was a role player in the league. He, like I said, he played in Spain, Gran Canaria, Fort Worth Low Gators or something like that. He gutted his way into the league, and he gutted his way into this career. And I just I respect it, and the players respect it.
Look, I recently apologized on this show to Jayson Tatum because I think I was wrong about him. I questioned his ability to lead this team, and it seems like he is that guy. Is there a desire when it comes to ownership that Jayson Tatum is locked down for a long time here?
Oh, we love Jayson. We've obviously maxed him out. Jayson, Jaylen, Al, Marcus, Rob. Our starting five is unbelievable, and then you can add another five onto that. It's a group we want to keep together, but there's no question that he's got a team concept. It's not the Jayson Tatum concept. It's the team concept. It's winning. It's doing everything he can, and everybody else is pitching into that. It's the kind of leadership that the Celtics are known for from the past, and it's nice to see it now.
Wyc, it seems like the Celtics fandom is back and stronger than maybe even before the pandemic, whether it's Jayson Tatum getting MVP chance on the road, or I don't know if you saw there was a Cape Cod teenager who got 2022 Celtics champs already tattooed on him. I just want to know if you think that is a good idea for other fans out there. Like, should I be workshopping a tattoo idea for myself?
I'll leave that to you. I won't speculate on what you might get, but I think that we will just try to do what we can to make all those tattoo dreams come true, but I'm not sure. I would view it as a jinx myself, so I'm probably not going to do that. But I'm a little superstitious, so I'd rather just hope that someday the tattoo has its place.
Yeah.
Wick, one of the guys on this basketball team, from myself to a lot of Celtics fans, it's like 1 week we're like, ship this guy out of here. The next week we're like, he's the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah.
And that would be Marcus Smart. And one of the things that I've kind of seen with his play recently is he's kind of taken on more of that point guard role where he's become more of a distributor rather than, trying to look for shots for himself. What has Marcus has meant to kind of this turnaround when you look at the role that he is in now of being more of that true point guard and, getting other people involved?
Yeah, he's got another level. I don't know how many gears, your car has probably 6 or something, probably a lot, but he's got a 7th and an 8th gear in there. I mean, he just is so competitive, as we all know. I just love the spirit. I love the fact that he cares that much, and it's infectious. Everybody cares that way. It's like, in a different way, it's like when KG was here. I mean, you just can't let down when KG's around, or KG's in practice, or KG's on the floor with you. And I think Marcus brings a lot of that same energy and that same drive. And it's an important ingredient, in my opinion. It's an important ingredient for a team to have that fight. And Ime said in his first press conference last summer, when we introduced him, he's like, we're going to bring the dog out in guys, I think he said, and they're looking forward to it. And I guess that's what is epitomized or represented by Marcus Smart.
Hi, Wyc. I'm Chris Scheim. I took Ken Laird's job here on the show. Speaking of Ken Laird, actually, he made a ridiculously crazy take yesterday saying that this Celtics team might be one of the best Boston teams we've ever seen, and Greg immediately pushed back with the 86 Celtics. So I need your opinion, Wyc. What do you think, this team or the 86 Celtics?
Nice try. First of all, any team that won a championship we get to talk about it, that championship in '86. Lots of people think that was the best team ever assembled. So we are right now. We've had a couple good months, and we've had a couple bad months. So it's just we're having them in the correct order. You don't want to go the other way. So we have a grade of incomplete.
Wyc, I think when you look at this team here, I think a lot of Celtics fans look at this team as, look what they've been able to do. But even moving forward into the future and what this team could potentially be, I know we got to focus on the here and now. But is it exciting to be an owner and know that you have guys like you talked about, Tatum and Brown and Robert Williams, who I think is really doing a tremendous job, to know that you have a good building foundation on your team headed forward and what they are?
Yes, and it really does, just to be completely honest, transparent, which I always do. But anyway, just to really nail it down, in the off season when Ime and Brad were in place, I met with them and I said, listen, I'm not freaked out about this year. Ime, you're going to be a first-time head coach. You don't need to get off to some amazing start. This year doesn't have to be a record-setting year. What I want to do is win a ring, another one, when we're in the prime here over the next 5 years. Like, we've got the makings here with Jaylen and Jayson, and we've got Marcus and Rob. Hopefully, that they can keep developing, that Rob can develop and so on, which he has. But I said, don't do anything this year for a quick Band-Aid that's going to mess up, the next 4 years. This feels like we're going to, build into this thing. Now it's actually caught fire over the last couple of months, so everybody's feeling great. But anyway, I tried to take the pressure off this year for the guys and say, settle in. There's not going to be any panic from me or my partners. There's not going to be anything other than let's go relentlessly, do everything we can to build this team. So everybody, except for Al Horford, and now Daniel Tice is in his late 20s, Al's in his 30s, but everybody else is like 24, 25 on this team. And so we are positioned, and we're going to keep this thing together, and we are going to be a problem, hopefully, for people.
I think that's so interesting, too, because not just with the Celtics, but we talk about every team if they don't make a big splash, if they don't make any big moves, we think that the ownership's just given up on them. And you look at this team in particular, and that's just simply not the case for you guys.
Well, but people are entitled to think whatever they think. Anybody who sees me at the game for the last 20 years knows that, there's a foul shot in the first quarter and we miss it. I'm like, sort of like doubled over my seat. So, I'll just let that speak for itself. But we are trying to make sure Jayson, Jaylen, Rob, Marcus want to re-sign here, and they've all recently re-signed here. We want to build around those guys. We love having Al back. We love having Tice back. Derek White's a huge addition. We've got him locked up for multiple years. This feels like, it's working now, and it's got to keep going. But we've got the makings here of something that's really exciting. I want to thank the fans, too, just before you guys hang up on me or wherever. But, it's like, well, were the fans up and down? Now they're back. We actually just sold out like our 300th straight game, 40 a year. That's like 7 straight years of sellouts. So the fans haven't left, but the perception of the team, including my perception of the team, has changed a lot over the last couple months. I'm super excited. I was always hopeful, like I always am, I guess. But, things have changed, but the fans have always been there for us, and we appreciate it.
Well, arguably, you got the best team in the NBA right now. So
Yeah, pretty good. And he's got new seats, so in a different location.
Yeah, he moved his seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a better view on the sideline.
That wasn't really me. That was my wife, Amelia. We sat over there just on a whim during preseason. And then she's like, "Oh my God, I love our new seats." And I'm like, "Oh no, I got to make a few calls." Luckily, we worked it out. So,
well, I really appreciate you taking the time with us. It's always great having you on, and
thank you.
And we'll do it. We'll do it again here as the season moves on. So thanks, Wyc.
You guys are great. Great show, and thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right, that is Wyc Grousbeck.